Sarah, and my husband and I booked one of Puglia Paradise's villas, Corte, Bianca, for September of this year. That's 2022. It was absolutely beautiful. The grounds were fabulous. It was aesthetically very pleasing, as well as being extremely well appointed and exceptionally clean. There was a pool, covered areas by the pool, grass areas with shade, well appointed kitchen, outdoor eating areas, good laundry. Everybody had privacy, their own bathrooms, their own space, yet we could meet in communal areas for food and games. There was an outdoor fire pit with wood supplied, so we could sit and have early evening drinks by it on cooler evenings. As I say, it was a family holiday. It was meant to be a week of relaxing after my daughter's wedding in Umbria the previous week. So we drove on down south for warmer weather. My other daughter and her husband and baby joined us from Australia, and they had a 1-year-old. So it was important to make sure that the needs of the adults were met, but so were the needs and the safety issues for the baby. And I have to say, Puglia Paradise helped us immensely in the booking process when we were looking at distances from sleeping areas to eating areas, etc. And they supplied a cot and a high chair. And in fact, my daughter and her husband with the baby had the master suite, which was in the night trullo, which was adjacent to the living trullo, and it had as well as its bedroom and bathroom, and a separate little room that the baby could sleep in, so that they didn't have to have her in the room, in their room with them. So it was absolutely fabulous. We thoroughly enjoyed it. I have to say, I can see why Puglia Paradise get their status as a trusted rental company. In fact, Corte Bianca wasn't the initial villa we booked. We'd booked another one, and well into the booking, Massimo contacted us and said that he was extremely upset and he was extremely disappointed, but the villa we'd booked had changed ownership and the new owners weren't meeting the standards he expected, and it just wasn't going to be the holiday we'd booked, and he was basically recommended that we booked elsewhere. It was well on, he was being very fair too. He said it didn't have to be with them, you know, but he was just couldn't offer us the original villa at a standard that he felt was appropriate. It was well on into the booking, and there were by now sort of limited villas in supply, but he went out of his way to secure us a beautiful villa, a top-end villa that more than met our needs, and actually we were very, very happy and not disappointed. So I think I'm using that as an example to show how well he worked with a difficult situation to keep the reputation of his company, but also to meet our needs and make sure that we weren't disappointed. And in fact, we ended up with better accommodation than we'd originally booked. It was an extremely personal service. Both Massimo and Valentina, our guest angel, contacted me by phone here in the UK before we left for Italy to make sure that they understood our requirements and all our needs were met. Valentina supported us when we were actually in Italy. You know, she would advise us about restaurants, which supermarkets to go to. She organised airport transfers. She was there for anything we wanted to ask, but wasn't intrusive. We certainly had our own privacy. It was an absolutely lovely week, and the place was beautiful. We were relaxed. We actually loved Puglia, the restaurants, and it worked very, very well for a family week with the baby. My daughter from Australia had actually used Puglia Paradise before. She'd gone to the area several years ago with a group of Australian friends, and so she recommended the company as a starting point for when we were looking for a villa. So I wouldn't hesitate to recommend Puglia Paradise, and I wouldn't hesitate to use them again.